right, episode 17 of the What Are We Thinking podcast. Here again with Mark and Josh. Mark just said pregnancy was a joke and said that women have no idea what real pain is. Until you work out with them in the mornings.
I was totally going to sit back and let that one go, let introduction go, and be like, thanks, guys, for having me, but I think I'm going to get some hate mail on that one.
Mark didn't actually say that, in case anyone's wondering. Pregnancy is not a joke. That has nothing to do with anything we're going to be talking about today. But I guess with that being said, Mark, how's your week been, bro?
It's been great, man. Had the opportunity to eat lunch this week and spend some time with a very good friend of mine, Josh.
Barack Obama.
Yeah, Barack Obama.
You guys are tight.
Hey. That's what I said. Hey. Yeah, I've had a great week. It has been very busy. There's been a lot of highs and lows, and I appreciate both of them. So,
dude, you had a cool conversation with your daughter.
I did.
Can I bring that up?
We can.
All right.
I think
you just told me about it. And I was like, that's such a cool conversation that happened. Tell everyone about it.
All right. So kindergarten has started back this week. So as I take my daughter to school every day, we get to have these little moments of father-daughter time. And I cherish those because normally she is all over her mom and doesn't want anything to do with dad. So she was watching her iPad. And something came on about a puppy, and she said, "Oh, they're having a puppy." And I was like, and I thought she was discussing somebody that we know was having a puppy, and I realized
that person was pregnant with a puppy.
Yeah,
that's an interesting concept.
It can happen. They're doing crazy things in vitro now. So I said, "Oh, I thought you were talking about something like a real puppy," and she immediately, without hesitation, said, "Is God real?" What?
What a great conversation!
Well, obviously he is, and that I don't know how to pivot from there.
How do you?
I don't know where to go, and then immediately after I said, "Yes, he is." She hit me with, "Where is he at?"
Oh, a great one.
Oh, I mean, he's not in the upstairs bathroom, but he's in heaven. He's with us all the time. He's with us now. And she said, "Oh, cool." And then she mentioned something about coronavirus. So that's where we went from there. So those deep little small 10-second conversations with your kids. Dude, I thought about it all day.
I love it. See, because when I was a kid, that was the furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah.
When I was a kid on the way to school, it was, are we stopping at 3J's to get a sausage and biscuit and potentially a chocolate soldier? Like, I brought that. Yeah, we've talked about it.
It's a good call, though. I mean, obviously, 3J's is a good place to eat in South Fulton or Martin.
That's what I was about to say. South Fulton, Martin, or
Union City.
Or
I was about to say.
Yeah. It's everywhere. TJ's.
Hello, TJ's.
Terminator.
Mike Tyson.
They have a plethora of snacks.
3J's, because for anyone wondering, I have an unhealthy and physically, literally unhealthy obsession with gas station food.
I mean,
I like it.
That's true.
I like gas station food. And there are many, and I don't exaggerate when I say many nights where I'm not craving anything except for the little food that's in the hot bins at a gas station. My wife can attest to this. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. And it's that way because of 3J's, though. I grew up going to 3J's all the time. Freaking chicken on a roll. Are you kidding me?
That's a solid choice on any occasion. Christmases or Thanksgivings.
Always.
Those are solid choices.
Chicken on a roll, the Crispitos are my jam.
Chicken and cheese.
Yes, dude. Or the chili and cheese, whatever you want. Now they have buffalo style. I know, I do. And now Casey's has these tuna sandwiches that I love.
Tuna sandwiches?
Bro, don't judge me. Yeah.
I'm not.
It's on a croissant. It's in a little cold bin. And I love it. I love it, okay?
It's on a croissant.
It sounds so fancy.
Fancy.
Tuna sandwich on a croissant
in
the gas station.
That is it.
So those are my early mornings as a kid. And your your daughter is asking, is God real? And if so, where's he at? And I'm like, well,
enlightenment.
she's a beast.
She's something.
You
She keeps me guessing most days.
You get a young theologian on your hands.
You know what? I would be so happy.
You're going to have to pay for it to go to Union University now.
Better start saving.
Let's go Southwestern. I like Southwestern better.
It's in Dallas.
What about DeVry? Do they do anything like that?
DeVry?
I have no clue.
Phoenix? What? University of Phoenix? Maybe they
Well,
do.
she can go to community college first, get all of her basics out of the way.
Yeah.
And then she'll have to do everything else online because I'm sure in 10 years from now we'll still be wearing masks and, having a
I think the one in
college will
Dallas
be
is
online.
all online.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt.
For sure.
Well, Josh, how's your day? Oh, your day. You've had an interesting day. How's
I've
your
had a
week
very
been, bro?
interesting day.
Yeah.
My week's been good because, today started out great because it's the first day I've been able to taste anything.
Yeah.
That's
taste.
awesome.
Day
COVID-19.
17, I can taste.
Wait, what'd you say?
Day 17.
You said day 17 and you said COVID-19. It confused me. I was like, what are we talking
all
about?
odd numbers.
Yeah.
But yes,
That's amazing.
I'm happy about that for sure. Shout out to the older gentleman who told me to get off the road this morning as I was on my morning run. Shout out to him
Crazy runners.
and his love of life and his zeal for all things human. I want to thank him for yelling at me this morning and telling me to get off the road.
Yeah.
But my week's been good. It's going to get better. We do some whitewater rafting.
That's amazing.
Oh,
And
yes,
then
I
we're
completely
going to
forgot
hit
about
up. You asked for it at church on
Dude,
Sunday.
I don't want to give too much away. Oh, it won't matter. This is going to come out after I
Yeah,
preach it anyway.
it's a week later.
Yeah.
So
nobody will know.
This Sunday,
You can just preach it.
I'm
nobody will know.
right now.
Nobody will
This Sunday, I'm preaching a message called "The Big Three: Tattoos, Drinking, and Homosexuality." I am doing.
Which one of those are we?
Are you going to say which one of those is my favorite?
Yeah. Well, the big three.
The third one.
The
It's
big
my
three.
favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of any preacher doing that ever. To try and touch on all of that in one
message.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the challenge. I'm obviously nervous because, without a doubt in my mind,
Yeah.
people will leave. I hate
Early?
to say mad or frustrated. I don't think they will because most of what we're talking about isn't as controversial as people think that
No.
it is. But I'm always nervous when I'm going to preach something that I know could potentially make someone like angry or whatever. But it's good. We need to hear the truth. And a lot of times the only reason it makes people angry is because we prefer opinions and traditions
Yeah.
and preferences and, I don't know, religion as opposed to actually what God's word says
Yes.
and what it meant when he said it.
Yeah.
And so it says it's his word that sets people free. Like he sets the truth
Yes.
will set you free.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so if we're preaching half truths in order to try and get people to not do things,
Yeah.
that's not setting anyone free. So we got to preach the full truth behind a lot of different stuff. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I stole the show though. We were still talking about your week because you were talking about.
Well, I know that's gonna be part of my week. That's coming. Like,
Oh yeah,
that's-
it is.
that's
It is.
my-
Me and Josh
my future.
thrive on this whole,
Yeah.
not offending people, but as Swebb would say, offending preferences and offending like
Yes.
traditionalism for the sake of
Yes.
traditionalism.
Yeah.
Well, nothing changes if you don't throw something into the works.
Yeah.
There have to be people who are willing to challenge status quos, challenge traditions and preferences, because if we do not, we don't better our kids.
Yeah.
We don't better anybody in the future.
Right.
We succumb to what we live in now. And I'm sure I'll hit on that at some point today. But
we thrive in that.
yeah, I do.
I'm
I
pretty sure
enjoy
the
it.
first time I ever met Josh, that's what clicked with us was like we both just have this we don't care what anyone thinks mentality.
Right.
We're gonna go for it.
And we were doing that with high school kids at the
We
time.
were making them all so uncomfortable, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I remember like,
Yeah.
Well, how we met was this moment where we're like sharing our testimony with every high school junior within the whole region, from all the way from Lake County to Carroll County, which
Yep.
I mean that encompasses thousands of
Yeah.
kids.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah.
we're sharing our stories, and we didn't even know each other. And he gets up there and talks about how he was mad at God and how just these different addictions that he dealt with, and kind of his story. And it's really gripping when you hear it. It's like, whoa, that's so intense. But then he's getting up in their faces and being like, this does not have to be you. Like, you're better than this, blah, blah, blah. And then I go right behind him and just do the same thing. And I start talking about pornography, and they're all just at the point of, they're like snickering, and we're calling them out. Yeah, if you're laughing about this, it's because you deal with it and you got a problem. And they're all just like, their eyes are just getting all big, and their butts are all tightening up, and they're like terrified.
5 gigs of it on my phone.
And we're just all but
Just that much, kid? Come
we're
on.
like preaching.
You got to put up like those rookie numbers.
Preaching at them, letting them know that they all have a problem. And they're just like, oh my gosh, no one's talked to us like this before. And then kids are walking up to us at the end confessing things that we're like, oh my God, I didn't see this one coming. But because it was beneficial. So it was cool. It's just it just goes to show you, like, you kick against the status quo and people respond to it every single time.
Yeah, I think it's good. Well, it's good they know you come from something. They know you've already done it.
Right.
And they're like, there is another way, to do this.
Yeah.
It's not just do that and stay that way or whatever. Kids need to know that there's an option, that they can't see yet. It's hard for people to see, man.
Absolutely.
Especially as a kid. I didn't see it either. I probably would have done the same thing. I'd have laughed at me. I'd have snickered and went home and watched porn. And then that'd have been what happened.
I still remember the very first time I was in a church, like it was a youth conference, where someone used the word pornography, and I about jumped out of my skin. Yeah. Because I was like, did they just say that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never. Yeah. Well, they took it another step further. We're about to get crazy on the podcast right now. But they were like, for those of you, what we mean when we say pornography, or for those of you who have a problem with masturbation. Oh. And I just
open
was
the gate.
My eyes were already like, but then when they said that, it was like, mouth was just like, oh my, did they just say that? And then they had this altar call, and 500 kids answer the altar call, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is an actual problem. I'm not the only one in the whole world that has this problem. It was like, wow, this was crazy. And it's a part of our stories. I mean, like, if anyone ever says they struggle with pornography, like, it's kind of a part of it, Yeah. And so
you don't just watch it.
Right, exactly.
You feel it. you feel the shame of it.
You do. I mean,
you don't just go.
Right, and just sit there and
get my hands on my back.
There's a method to your madness, but like, I still remember people talking about that for the first time, and that was faux pas social. I mean, you don't say that in church.
Yeah.
And then I also remember people saying that in church, and then me getting set free from it. And it was
because it got talked about.
Oh, that's why we are supposed to confess our sins and actually talk about all the stuff that we deal with. That's why when you read the Bible, Paul talks about a guy who slept with his stepmother openly in front of everyone and didn't care about who it made uncomfortable because he cared about people's lives, and God cares about people. So all that to say, excited for this Sunday. I'm also excited because I got a tattoo this week.
You did.
So, and it wasn't in.
You did it.
It wasn't in. I got a huge one for you.
You did it, man.
It's like we just went all out first time through, but it wasn't even because I'm preaching on tattoos. Like I had this sermon planned for. We've been talking about this for months now. Like I knew this one was coming, but and luckily when we did the You Asked For It, people actually asked for that. People asked about tattoos, drinking, and homosexuality. So I was like, okay, I feel
and just
good
open the door.
This wasn't just something that I was going to touch on because I wanted to. Now
that's
other people
good,
want to
man.
hear about it too. But me and my wife went and got one, and it was actually great. And actually, unless someone else has something to say, it kind of leads us into our Stop It segment today.
Hit it.
You ready to stop it?
Well, before you do that, before we stop it, what was special about your week? What's the biggest part about your week?
Oh, dude, this is my anniversary. Yesterday was my anniversary.
Anniversary week.
Yes, this is my anniversary week. My wife and I have been married for 3 years now. We've been together for about 5 years because we were together for like a year and almost exactly 11 months.
Those don't count until you're married.
Right, but still we were together. So been with her for five years, but married for 3 years. Been an amazing 3 years. We're going on a fun anniversary trip this weekend. It's like a staycation pretty much. We're going to Paducah, and we're going to spend the day in Paducah, Kentucky, stay in a hotel that night, come home on Saturday. So we're excited. Got to go like thrift shopping and stuff like whatever she wants to do.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, by the way.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it. It's been great. My wife makes it way easier than
You lucky devil.
what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, yeah. It's all on her too. She makes it easier. So, with that, are you ready for this stop it segment?
Stop it.
Now,
Ready.
going into this stop it segment, Josh, you have tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, how many tattoos do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3 that we know of.
Yeah.
There's been rumored that he has a lower back tattoo that other people don't know of yet.
The rumor's not true.
So he only has 3.
Untrue.
3,
Yes.
quote unquote
Yes.
3. I just got one. And so our stop it segment today, and this is not in response to anything I've dealt with because I got my tattoo so that people would ask me the meaning behind it.
Right.
But it's in response to things I've done in the past that I had to learn, and things that obviously I've seen people do, especially church people. And so today, we're begging people, our viewers, to stop asking everyone with a tattoo the meaning behind every one of their tattoos.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it gets annoying sometimes to people because there's not a meaning for every single tattoo. Sometimes people get tattoos because they think they look good and they just like them.
I dig it.
Why'd you get your first tattoos?
Because it looked good and I wanted one.
Right.
Funny story was, it was the first time I moved out of my parents' house. And when I moved out, my dad had always told me growing up, you'll never have a tattoo under my roof. If you get one, he said if I pierced my ear, he would sew lace in my underwear. He always told me that.
Wow.
Yeah. Always scared me.
That's
as a
awesome.
kid, he was like, if you ever pierce your ears, I'm gonna
wear
sew lace in
lacy
your underwear.
underwear. I'm going to make you wear a thong
Okay, so
for the rest of your life.
So when I moved out, I was like, I'm gonna get one. Yep, this is the time. I'm gonna get one. So I got one. Didn't rethink about having to possibly move back home with mom and dad. 6 months later, had to go move back into mom and dad. I worked with my dad, so in the summers, I would clean up cars, and most of the summer I would work without a shirt on. Previous summers,
Right.
That summer I worked with a cutoff sleeve shirt on, and my dad knew about the tattoo. He was just like letting me sweat it out. So he
Wow.
finally came to me and was like, I've known you've had that forever. Like, I knew when you went and got it. So
Who told him? How did he find out? Did he
he
ever
knew,
tell you?
I mean, I have buddies that can't keep their mouth shut. So, I
Nice.
mean, that's probably one. But
We all do.
I don't have any
Yeah.
of those. That's it. Only all of them.
yeah. So, yeah, that was and I had to come back home, and I had another story about my grandmother, but we'll save that one for another day. But
What?
do you want to go into
I want to hear the story about
Okay.
your grandmother.
All
Yeah.
right, so, wow, I shouldn't even open my mouth on
I
that one.
know. How are you going to... You can't do that.
She lived next door to us, so I was outside, I think playing basketball or something in the driveway with my brother, and I had my shirt off. I didn't think about it. She looked in the kitchen window and could see my back, and I was like, "Oh gosh, she saw my tattoo. She saw it. She saw it." And Luke was just laughing at me, my brother. So she comes outside, and she did see it, and I was like, "Oh, she saw it." She was like, "I like your tattoo." I was
Shut
like,
up.
"What?" Nana, what do you mean? She's like, "I like your tattoo." I've got one too.
Cool.
I've got one too. And just walks off from there.
She said
like,
she has a tat?
She did, but it was more like a surgery, like a surgery that she had.
Whoa.
So yeah, she had one, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. It was awkward. It was an awkward conversation because
Right.
I knew where the tattoo was at that point.
Whoa.
You just made it a little weird, but yeah, it was.
Let's
I was like,
go.
Nana's got tattoos. So she's not like a sailor or anything.
Right.
I got tattoos too.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, I don't know if my grandparents like my tattoo or not. They haven't like vocally said hate that, but they
Right.
also didn't like the Facebook post or say nice tattoo.
Oh.
So I feel like their silence speaks as
For
loud
itself?
as my dad hasn't said anything yet either. I know he's not a
He's
fan.
waiting.
He didn't want me to get a tattoo. He's still gonna love me and not give me
Right.
Yeah.
He'll make fun of me or something.
Not disown you.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
won't disown me.
He'll
no.
wait for that moment.
I've had my ears pierced, and so I feel like if he went through that,
Do you have lace in your underwear?
no,
Okay.
he
Only me. Okay.
didn't say anything. Josh, what was your first tattoo and your parents' response? And maybe
My dad paid for it.
let's go.
What?
I think he did it to make my mom mad. Not sure, but like I used that to my advantage though, because they weren't together. So like I was like, I want a tattoo, and I was like, sure, I'll pay for it. But I was like, oh, I can't believe you're gonna get that. I didn't even tell my mom until the day before. I guess she just found out, and she was like, I heard you getting a tattoo tomorrow. I was like, yep, and she was like,
Wow.
have you thought about that? Like, I was like, yeah, sure, that's what I want. Like I'm ready. And I was still a senior in high school. I turned 18 early. So
You were intense, though.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know what Josh looks like, he's got a full sleeve, first of all, and some other tattoos as well. But Josh had like a septum piercing at one point.
yeah, that got me kicked out of my dad's house.
Did you ever have a lip ring?
He paid for your first tattoo,
I know,
but didn't
but
like the septum.
Septum ring is a whole
Right.
other ball
Did you have
game.
a tongue ring? Or?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
what I
so
thought.
dumb.
He had a tongue ring.
I know.
The only reason I know this
I
is
know.
because there was a time period where Josh dated one of my my cousins. And that's how my family knew Josh Crawford was the
guy
kid
with the tongue ring?
with the tongue ring and the septum piercing. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, it's
I
funny.
feel like every time I'm blown away whenever I hear that. Like I've heard it before, like multiple times. And I'm like, for real?
I think he was in a
Yeah.
band.
But like
you know.
that was a big
Yeah.
like piercings were really well, they were popular, but they weren't popular all at the same
Right,
time. Like
right.
when I had my septum done, I would go into Walmart and people were like, oh my God, like
Right.
Satan worshiper.
Right. Satan worshiper.
Yeah.
Satan's pretty cool.
Lucifer. 1,000 judging eyes staring back at me. Yeah. So, but I wanted a tattoo, and once I got the first one, it was over. Like,
Yeah.
all the
Let's
time.
go.
Like, and I have so many plans,
Yeah.
for so many more. I have a lot of cover-ups.
He's
I have
gonna
to
get the
do,
Book of
but-
Revelation tattooed on his back.
Yeah,
But like
it is.
word for word, not like pictures. He's gonna get every word tattooed across
Yes.
his back.
So Denzel Washington can read it. Like when,
The Book of Eli.
he was blind the whole time.
Who knew?
Nobody knew it.
Man, it's like more of a twist ending than The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, it was actually. It's
Didn't
really
know
good.
that guy was dead. Spoiler alert, by the way, guys. If you haven't seen that movie,
If you're too young,
Yeah.
it won't mean anything to you
Yeah.
anyway.
right.
You're not Shyamalan.
yeah. Freak.
To end our stop it segment, just with some tattoo etiquette. Don't feel like you always need to ask someone the meaning behind every tattoo. If you
No.
know someone, ask them. If someone's in the elevator, you're like, man, it's a really nice tattoo. I really like it. People are going to say thank you. There's
Stop.
actually a meaning behind
Yeah.
it. If
Yeah.
they want you to know, like
Yes.
that's what I'm going to do at some point.
Yeah.
I got mine for that reason. Not everyone's going to be that way. You don't have to ask everyone what their tattoo means. Doesn't always mean anything. And
Most
and
people
also,
with tattoos are not going to take
just a
anything.
quick tattoo etiquette. When someone gets a tattoo and posts about it online, don't leave a comment that just says "very ugly." Someone did that to me this week.
Are they talking about you or
Don't
the
even
tattoo?
know who they are. The tattoo.
Maybe it was like somebody in the background.
Wow.
It said "very ugly" and then with a emoji face like that, "very ugly," and then someone else said that there's evil spirits behind every single tattoo, and I was like, "Come on, people!" But
Yeah.
so probably don't tell people that their tattoos are ugly. So yeah, tattoo etiquette 101, in case you're wondering. So
Because we don't care, actually,
right,
what you think.
absolutely, tattoos not for other people.
Oh,
They're
damn.
for
I
us.
didn't tattoo
I know.
my whole arm for you to, like,
Right.
not like it. I
It's no
didn't care.
different than
You
your
got, you got
horrible.
tattoos on your arm? You didn't even notice.
It's like your horrible eyeliner. I'm not going to walk up to you and say, wow, you really
Yeah,
suck at putting on your
yeah.
makeup. And I know that because my wife's a cosmetologist and I appreciate good makeup, but yours is horrible. I'm not going to say that. Or,
Yeah.
nor am I going to say your hair is bad or I hate the way you dress
Yeah.
or you need to get style. But I mean, it's no
Unless you wear
different.
Crocs or chocolates.
It's no different than walking up to someone's tattoos and be like, they're horrible. So
Get up.
Get up, Crocs. Oh, man. So let's hit some headlines.
Let's do it.
I'm not going to have all serious headlines. I have one maybe that's going to be serious.
are we going to go serious at the beginning or serious at the end?
at the end?
Okay.
Maybe it's
Oh,
gonna
gosh.
it's gonna be a good segue for us.
Okay.
So 8 Nebraska football players sued the Big Ten over their decision not to let them play football.
They're still not going to play.
How'd they sue them?
Well, they said
Did they lose
because
scholarships?
no, it is because in the governing documents, athletes are third-party beneficiaries. So, according to the suit, they weren't allowed to
Draft and
vote.
stuff.
They weren't allowed any kind of say. So, and they're the ones actually playing. So that's what the suit is. I don't know. I mean, that's could be 10 years from now. I mean, that's irrelevant actually, but it just shows you that some people are still really super ticked they're not getting to play football.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, I think it's really kind of cool that they're still. Because I mean, think about it, dude. It's like if someone had planned on playing football this year and going into the NFL, they just missed out on $50 million.
Yeah.
You know, because
And other conferences are going to play if that happens. I mean,
Right.
if that actually goes through. Yes.
how is the NFL draft even going to look this year?
It'd be way different.
The combine, you're just going to have to go to a combine?
Yeah, most likely.
Are they even going to have the draft in person? Are they going to do it via Zoom?
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's at home.
Well, that's what they did last year. It was all on Zoom last year. 'Cause it's in
Really?
April.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true.
So
Gosh, I forgot.
it was all on Zoom last year.
I
That's
didn't
how they
watch
did
it.
I
I
didn't
didn't
either.
either.
I watched ESPN.
It wasn't important really.
I just
'cause
watched The Last Dance.
yeah.
That's all I watched.
every Sunday night.
Yeah, that was
That's
good.
literally, that was the highlight.
I mean, that's
Other than church, that was my favorite part of my week at one point
Yes.
during COVID season.
Yes.
Was Sunday night, The Last Dance.
yes,
Loved
church. Church was one.
And then
Church is the most important.
Yes, and then
I
Okay,
get
so
that.
here's a
So-
semi-hot take.
All right.
If you want to take a stab at it, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I'm gonna set you up. It's like volleyball. If you want to spike it,
Are
you
we
can.
past this football
Yes.
player?
Yeah, we're past the football
Okay,
player.
all right.
That
We're
was a
gonna
quick
give you number
hitter.
2. Yeah, it was a quick hitter. No, but not a big deal. So, last night at the Republican National Convention, which I didn't watch, by the way, because I don't watch any of them.
well,
I've
all you gotta
never
do is look
watched.
at Instagram.
Yeah,
That's it.
I just
You
don't
can-
watch them.
you
I
can-
was trying to watch the weather.
Actually, I get more confused when I watch it from social media or Instagram because I don't even know.
No context.
I
It's
no
just-
context. It's just people
Yeah.
saying Satan. I mean, you know, what I'm saying, like just screaming or just screaming cuss words, and I'm like, what are they? What are they mad at? I don't know.
So Mike Pence, our local reverend for America, the Vice President Mike Pence.
Mike Pence.
He quoted some scripture,
Oh,
okay, but he tweaked it a little. So I'm gonna give you some. Now he got there.
he tweaked it a little,
He tweaked it a little because he said, "Here's the full quote. Let's run the race marked out for us.
Okay.
Let's fix our eyes on Old Glory and all she represents. Let's fix our eyes on the land of heroes and let their courage inspire. And let's fix our eyes on the author and perfecter of our faith and freedom, and never forget that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And that means freedom always wins." So we got Jesus in there at the end.
Yeah, he made it.
He made the cut at
Yep.
the end. But I just thought that was like so telling for me. Like, that's just where we are. Like, that's been my whole day today. That's just been my whole day of that is the idol of our church.
Oh my God.
It's
The
politics.
church. It's politics. It's just
Yeah.
that's an idol for us. And America is an idol for the church. Like, it can be. And we live in a great country, and I appreciate all those freedoms. But like today, somebody posted about the American church is lukewarm, and I was like, no, they're not. First of all, you called it the American church. I don't think you should ever call it the American church.
Right.
It's the church.
Yep.
All right, it's God's. It's not America's. But we're not lukewarm. We're very hot about everything,
Oh, for
but
sure.
loving people and being
For sure.
being the representation of gospel. So, what do you think about Mike Pence's quote?
The American church is dreadfully cold, if we're being very honest right now. We do not even come close to lukewarm. We are freezing cold.
To the gospel part.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
everything else, we're super hot, red fire on hot. Let's go.
Absolutely. We're burning with passion.
About how much we don't like Black Lives Matters, or we love our country and it's all great and everybody should just shut up or move. Listen, this is funny. I'm going to let you answer. I'm sorry. But
Oh, no,
I
you're
listened to
good.
Focus on the Family
I don't
this
even
morning.
know how I'm going to answer this.
I don't have an answer.
This is despicable.
Focus on the Family, which has been on the radio for, I don't know, decades.
Yes.
But every once in a while, like on my iPod in my car, I don't have a USB port. I discussed this with him yesterday.
I was like, what's the logistics about this
You
word?
listen to focus on the family.
I had to do the radio transmitter for my iPod.
Oh, yeah.
So, but when I don't have it plugged in.
So whenever I call and it goes,
yeah, that's it. So 88.7 is what I have it set on because it usually picks it pretty good for my iPod. Well, that's also focus on the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like the first station that pops up on the radio transmitter as well.
Yeah,
so.
it's at the low end.
Yeah.
It's at the very low end. It's almost before you flip back like the 107. Like
right.
923 The Rocket.
So I'm blown away by the fact that we are so enamored with the political world. Even as the name of this show is Focus on the Family, and it's all about the family being American, not Christian. It's not and there's several things we'll talk about like before we go today, before we get out of here, but there's just, I don't know, I just thought that was very telling. And it's, had that been done on the other side, the church would have attacked that, relentlessly.
And they should have, and we should still attack it relentlessly.
I saw something just a little bit ago, and that to me it's so simple, and it's so. And I've posted about this. I sent it to Josh like one night. I was walking, and I saw something, and it was a statement from both sides, and it's about loving people, not just the people you agree with, not just.
Yes,
the people that you align with politically or physically align with. There's things that we, as Christians, I think we have to let some of these things not go. I'm not saying we have to forget about them, but we're brought here to love people. Mm-hmm. And I saw somebody had posted that more people are worried about being Republican and Democrat than they are being actual good people. And loving people.
That's true.
And I saw that and I was like. Well, then I remembered if you hit like again, it unlikes it. So I think they got like 12 notifications. I just wanted to share.
Mark liked, unliked, unliked.
Hey, Miss Bob. So yeah, it is such a hot button issue. You're not allowed to, at this point, be whatever you want to be, and have a conversation with anybody of the opposite. Because you will be pile driven, and you can't put that on social media. You can't if you don't want to have to go through,
dude,
an emotional roller coaster that comes along with that,
right?
Mm-hmm. And a mob of people that will tell you you're not a Christian, or I can't believe you feel that way, or there's no way that you go to church, or you hear that, and that is the most. To me, that is the most unchristian thing that you can tell somebody, is that you're not a Christian because you think this way or you've said this.
And they, on Focus on the Family yesterday, they said this, because now I'm just like, now I'm intrigued by it. Now it's feeding me. Right. So like yesterday, they actually defended the guy that drove from Illinois to Wisconsin.
To shoot people?
They defended him. The whole story wasn't out yet. So like, they were like, he was there defending property. Okay, so, but here's my problem with that.
First of all, 17-year-old kid.
Yes, you don't go somewhere that's not your home.
It's freaking TJ Maxx, bro. It's not
right.
It's his property.
But see, I feel like that's the line we've crossed in America. Where like, I don't believe anyone's property is worth someone else's life. I just don't.
Right.
Like my car ain't worth your life. You know what I mean? No. Like, or my life either. Like, it's just not. But in America, in the dream, the thing that we chase all the time, the value that we put on our stuff, and our livelihood is tied up in our stuff.
Right.
And if you attack it, it's attacking me, and I'm going to kill you. But I even went back further into that story, and I don't know all the details of this stuff. I don't even know the details of Jacob Blake. Like, I don't know. I know that seemed excessive to me. 7 times. Good Lord. Like, lay off the trigger.
Right.
Like, I think he'd be down in 1 or 2. 7 just seems like a lot. Dude can't walk anymore. So, but then you have this scenario, which the kid that was on top of him, they were chasing him in the video. I saw the video last night. They were chasing him because he had shot somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid who was there just to protest, he wasn't even a rider or a looter. He was just there to protest. That was it.
Right.
Had a skateboard. He was going to disarm him,
Mm-hmm.
and he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so when you do things like that, when you take the law into your own hands, when you go this route, you don't know who's guilty of what. So you're just taking life.
Right.
Just however you want to.
Just shooting people in the face.
I mean,
See, I've heard two sides to that whole
Yeah,
story.
I mean,
And you'll hear
there's
two
many,
sides to
yeah.
Jacob Blake, and you'll hear two.
there's so many.
Yeah, and it depends on what form you follow, and it depends on
Yeah.
who's got a hold of the story.
Right. But for me, it's the fact he carried a gun.
Yeah. Well, he left his home in
Yes.
another state to go do that. Yeah, that's.
It doesn't matter what good you do, you erase all of it when you shoot 3 people. Like,
Right.
we can do things without guns. I fully believe that. I fully believe.
Blows my mind.
I think it was poor leadership in their state. I think it's poor leadership across the board. But still, like, I don't know, man. And today, social media, tons
I
of
know.
Christians. He had every right to do that. Double tap. Like, just, I mean,
some of the
eating it
some of the
up.
comments are really hard, and they're going to jump on. They're going to jump on the wagon of whether they know the full story. They're going to take a side one way or the other.
Yes,
but if they know the
absolutely.
full story of why was this kid here? Was he being chased, or was he already performed something? He had already shot somebody, whatever. No one's life should have been taken in that case because he's not under the authority to do so.
No, he's a kid.
He's a kid.
Right.
Yeah, he was 17 years old.
He's a kid.
I couldn't go purchase a DPMS Panther 223 that he had in his hands. He had an AR-15 style rifle, a DPMS
Right.
Panther. So I had to be 21 to purchase that in the state of Tennessee.
Wow.
Have to have a background check performed. Now, again, there's going to be multiple sides of the story. There's facts and things like that
Right.
we can talk about. But I don't feel that if there was a protest, whether civil or non-civil,
People don't
on,
just get to shoot people.
I'm not going to go travel to Kentucky
No,
and
I'm not either.
and do that.
Yeah.
I will potentially defend my home, but that's not my home.
But I feel like the biggest problem for me is, like, we're advocating for that.
I know.
Like, that is being advocated for. Last week we talked about just so happened talk about the militia thing.
Yeah.
And then the very next week there's a new one that's formed because of a situation.
Right.
And they're taking it into their own hands. And I just feel like that's not trusting God with your
For sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's taking everything into your own hands and solving it all yourself, which now you have 3 people that are, 2 people that are dead and one that's injured
Yeah.
or whatever. But all we did was add to the death toll. We didn't solve anything because
Right.
they're still there. That is
Yeah.
still happening. And, like, I know there's so many things that we don't hear and see, but, like, I'm seeing people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that's okay. I'm like,
Yep.
it's not okay.
It's not okay.
And I heard a guy who lives 10 minutes from me. He was like, only problem is that all he got was 2.
Wow.
But
And
that's intolerance. I mean,
it is.
that's a deep-seated intolerance for people.
And that's a hatred that has been building and building and building. But I feel like with a leader, if we had a leader in our country who could go, hey, guys, like, we got to stop.
Right.
Not go,
Not pick a side and
right, and not condemn people from a microphone
right.
when you're speaking to your entire country. Like, that's my biggest thing with Trump. Like, that is my biggest thing. He has moments where he can be a human and go,
Yep.
hey, guys, like, we're in this together. We're a country.
Right.
And I go, they're stupid. Boycott all their products. I don't like them. I hate them. Screw them.
Right.
Like, you start dismissing people from that platform, like,
Yeah.
everybody else is
It's
going to
it's
follow
insane.
suit.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people that are inspired, crazy people with guns. They're going to go somewhere and shoot somebody. Like, There's plenty of crazy white people that do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
being a hero, dude. Like,
It's hard to see both sides have such intolerance for the other.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to see that because there are some good folks. Like we talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. I feel like there's some good folks or the great folks in that movement that actually have a movement, but I feel like that movement's been hijacked at this point.
oh, for sure.
Because a lot of what you see on media is going to be some of the unblemished portions of that, and then when you look somewhere else, it's going to be the big warts and blemishes of what that movement is doing.
I don't think
but it's on
most
both
people
sides.
even support the leadership of the organization.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just saying, "Hey, like our lives matter." Like
Right. It's a phrase.
it's a phrase. Now, the organization I don't support. I don't support what they believe in. And that's fine, but I do support the people, like friends that I have, the people that I know who feel that way. And I feel like that's where we need to have empathy and like.
Oh, it's just such a lack of empathy, dude.
Just a lack of care
To
for
mourn
each other.
with people as they're mourning, to laugh with people as they're laughing. We take our political freedom and we use it as if it's literally scripture, and the Constitution is not scripture. It's not. It's not. I don't know.
It's not at all.
To just quickly, can we go back to the fact that Mike Pence, let's run the race. What was it? Will you read
Yes,
it again?
he
Because
wa-
that blew my mind.
He said, "Let's run the race marked out for us.
Okay.
Let's fix our eyes on Old Glory and all she represents," which is a lot. Let's fix our eyes on this land of heroes.
All she represents.
And let's fix our eyes on this land of heroes and let their courage inspire. And let's fix our eyes on the author and perfecter of our faith and freedom. And never forget that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, which that's in the Bible. And that means freedom always wins.
There's
But
just so
freedom
many
in Christ
things
and freedom
wrong.
in America
Totally different.
are not the
it's
same
not
thing.
the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
Let's fix our eyes on the race set before us. That doesn't have anything to do with a political race or the race to make America better. That has to do with the race of death and life. And living in the purpose that God placed on the inside of us to surrender our lives to Jesus and give everything over to Him and have
To
no
Jesus.
personal preferences and have
To
His,
Jesus.
Yes. Like that.
Let's remember
So,
that.
so then in all that Old Glory represents, well, what Old Glory represents now, or what Old Glory has represented throughout the history of Old Glory, because through the history of Old Glory has represented buy other people and treat them as chattel and animals and own them and kill them at your pleasure. Women do not have any rights to do anything whatsoever. There's been a lot of things that Old Glory has represented in the past that isn't quite...
Again, warts and blemishes. That's
like,
part of America.
Okay, so what does Old Glory represent now? And then Land of Heroes, sure, as if we're only a land of heroes, as if people... we don't have anything else to offer in America except for tons of heroes. And then, of course, the last part, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
To use that in congruency with the idea and the concept of America as being the land of freedom, that is tiptoeing the line of legitimate heresy. Like, it's not a good idea to use Scripture to back up your agenda. Like, we don't use Scripture to back up our agenda.
Well,
So
and
we
it's
follow Scripture because, like, we learn it in context because we should be trying to figure out what God's agenda is. And His agenda is not make America great again.
No.
His agenda is not left or right. His agenda is all people everywhere, loving them, loving your neighbor as yourself, people experiencing God. Like, that just blows my mind.
and I'm not harping on Mike here, like, because
I am. Dude, you can't just go use...
but we've all grown up with that our whole life.
I know.
And Mike's just he's a Catholic.
He didn't even write that
Mike's-
speech. Is the
I know
thing.
he didn't. He didn't write it.
His speech writers wrote that speech.
You know, like,
so
I get it,
Throw this in there.
But I get what he's saying, as in, let's look at everything she represents. But when they're in these conventions, they're not acknowledging anything that
No.
we can improve on.
It's clickbait, dude. Come on.
It is.
It's not meaningful. He's saying it to get the attention of Christian viewers. Like, that's literally all that's happening. That if we really believe that our national leaders are this dependent upon God and the Bible and theology, we are highly mistaken on any level. That is not the case.
I don't have a ton of faith, or I don't have much of any faith of most of the politicians there.
I wouldn't have any faith in myself.
My representation.
Right.
Yes.
But you're given you either align with this one or this one. And that's all you're given.
So
you're not given one that, like...
You're not given a good choice, bro.
There's no. Yeah, so I don't talk politics much because
I don't either.
My opinion is
I don't either. I mean,
not always well received. Yeah,
mine isn't either. Like, because I'm very different. I try to look at different things. Like I get so tired of, like, not tired of, and that's a little extreme, but I get frustrated with the fact that they don't let you question anything because they always go back to, like, the soldiers of our country. Like, my dad fought for this country. So did my brother. Like, I get that. My dad didn't want to go to Vietnam.
Right.
My dad got drafted because he was poor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that's why he had to go. And it ruined a lot of his life, dude, like, for the foreseeable future. And they didn't care.
Right.
Like, I feel like America sometimes does that with, like, hey, they're just like our people. We'll use you and get what we can get out of you, and then when it's over, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody makes us feel bad, we'll give you a gift.
Yeah.
Like, if we get called out on it, we'll acknowledge it and go, yeah, well, here's some health insurance for the rest of your life. It's not very good, and suspect doctors. I don't know. So I guess seeing that, like, from that side, like, you know, just knowing, having military in my family, and, you know, and my brother, who, you know, is always. He's gung ho. He was a Marine. Like, he wanted it.
Yeah.
Like, he was a sniper. Yeah. He was all those things, but he also gets, like, there's things that we need to work on.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And he wasn't even offended by, like the kneeling at the anthem. Right. He wasn't even offended at all, because I called him, like, right after it happened. I was like, gotta know, bro. Like, and we've said this before, you know, but you know, there's just. I hate it that the church only rises every 4 years to blast other people and judge other people for how they feel and to quote things. We're at the point now where it's like, you can't vote anything but Republican if you're a Christian. Oh, really?
I've literally seen posts from people literally at our church saying, "You're not a Christian if you don't vote Republican." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Well, that's what I hinted on with the video I posted. Somebody had posted that, how can you be a Christian if you support abortion? And then the other one said, how can you be a Christian, or how can you support the LGBTQ community if you voted for Trump? It's like,
right?
You're backing yourself into a corner.
Right.
Either way you go.
It's so, like, it blows my mind.
And once you let people know how you feel, they just dismiss.
You're tainted.
Yeah, they dismiss you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, Joel Adelph, he was a campus pastor at Elevation. He posted something today. I'll find it here in just a second. But he said, most of you are going to read this and just dismiss it. You're not going to look at it morally. You're going to look at it politically.
Right.
And that's how we look at things. And so it's actually about Jesus. I'll find it. It's right here. Yeah. The picture says it's a Pharisee and Jesus talking.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pharisee says, don't you know that adultery equals the death penalty? And Jesus says, let he without sin cast the first stone. The Pharisee says, okay, cool, Jesus. We'll just kill you then.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
that's so good, dude.
Yeah, and then Joel Duff says this. He says, praying for the Blake family today. I get he wasn't perfect, but the God I serve actually died for the imperfect and defended them even when it wasn't the priestly thing to do.
Right.
Saddened that those officers didn't know how to use any other means of detainment than the death penalty. A middle school football player knows how to tackle someone. You mean that 2 sworn officers don't know how to do that? And he says, we are the greatest country in the world. I value our policemen. I value law and order. We must do better. Our brave men and women in uniform would go into harm's way with the rules of engagement and get the job done.
Right.
Why is that so hard to expect that from our brave men and women of our police forces? We are the nation that captured Saddam Hussein alive. We can do better. Not about politics, just holding us to a higher standard.
Mm-hmm.
He says, the sad part is my posts will be read through your political narrative and disqualified rather than your moral barometer.
Yep.
And
That's
like,
exactly
I just
right.
love hearing like an a view like that from
Yes.
someone else. But I think it's also good to surround yourself with people that don't agree with you.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you need other
Yes.
opinions. But we don't. I don't know why the Christian community can't do that. Like,
Never have.
No one
have.
does. It
Are you
doesn't.
kidding
It
me?
doesn't matter Christian or not. I don't
the
think anybody will do it.
Crusaders. Are you kidding?
oh, I know. It's just like we're back there.
We'll kill
we never
people
left there.
if they're not Christian. I mean, you know, like
And the
we'll
Crusades.
burn witches alive and whatever. I mean, you know, like that's how it's always been, dude.
Well,
It's
no one wants to be in disagreements. They don't want that because that's a hard thing to do. Is to look at somebody across the table, disagree with them, and then still be able to sit there and carry on another conversation after that. Because normally one person's getting up from the table.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, think of if you and your brother or your parents got on to you and you disagreed with them. I don't love you anymore. And you run off your room and sit there and sulk for 15, 20 minutes. And you come back and be like, I'm sorry. That's how
Right.
we do as a society. But
Right.
some of us can't humble ourselves enough to say, I'm sorry. They will live with
true.
that. And they will die with that, knowing that they may have morally agreed with you, but it didn't align with them, with their agenda or their political
Right.
bias. So like, you didn't vote for Trump. We're not friends. Or you're not going to vote for Biden.
And it's-
You don't
I
believe in
feel
women's
that
rights,
way with
you know?
people, especially even my friends.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
It's
even
tough.
we'd be at the gym or wherever you're at sometimes, and it's just like I have to really keep my mouth shut. But it sucks
I know.
because I have to be the one that has to be the bigger person and just not say anything.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because once I open my mouth, it's like
Pandora's box is open.
The amount of times I want to reply to someone.
oh,
Someone got on me the other day
dude.
because I noted in a sermon how excited I was for the NBA to come back and that they were playing, and they were like,
Hot button.
they went off on me. I mean, I didn't say anything about how I love that they're wearing Black Lives Matter shirts and I
No.
love that they're taking knees. I didn't say any of that. And
So
hey,
the NBA's back playing.
I just said I enjoy the fact that they're playing again.
We don't watch NBA in my house.
And just went off on me.
I'm not
and
political.
I was like, "Are you
No.
kidding me right now?" So yeah, I don't know. Mark, you're about to have to go pick up
I
your
gotta go
young
get it right
theologian.
now. So I gotta be there at 3. I don't know that I'm gonna make that one, but
Thank you, Mark,
Thank
for
you.
guys,
joining
thank you
us
again
on
for
the What Are We
having us.
Thinking podcast,
I'm
dude.
so pumped about this weekend.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
dude.
amazing.
It's gonna
the
be
whole
fun.
weekend's going to be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm
We're
excited.
axe throwing
Axe throwing, whitewater rafting,
and
and
talking about
some taboo topics.
Talking about some taboo topics, dude. I like that. I like that.
So I'm looking forward to it, guys.
Are we ending this right now? Now
Let's
that he's
go.
All right.
Let's go.
Well, what are we thinking? We love you guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, review, share, comment, all that because you love us. So continue
make
doing
it
that.
happen.
We love you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys soon.
Thank you guys. Bye.